I really think quantum physics is the bridge between spirituality and science, and I'll explain. So, um, you can mathematically predict certain things, right? This um, if I throw this phone on the ground,
Hmm.
it'll land there, right? And then if I undo everything, like put everything back in its place, and I throw it again, everything's back in its place. Would you expect it to fall there? Like, of course, right?
Yeah,
Everything's
yeah,
like
yeah.
you
If you're
just
doing the
everything's perfect for
same,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That
same,
same thing,
same.
right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, but where does free will come in, right? And we talked about superposition. So like superposition, like all possibilities are real until one is chosen. Okay,
Hmm.
enter Prakriti and Prashua in
Hmm.
Hinduism. Prakriti is nature. It's governed by the laws of the world, which is the gunas, right?
Hmm.
Sattva, Raja, Tamas. It's just they're all just interchanging, right? And you can mathematically calculate that, right? But there's one thing outside of Parshua or Purusha, which is Prakriti, which is soul. He call Frost calls it intuition or direct experience.
Hmm.
If you want to do something or like I'm gonna create, like, where does creativity come from? We don't know, right? You could say like, okay, maybe you're making these micro calculations and you're pulling it from the past, but there is something there that is like it's beyond it, which is the experience of God, consciousness,
Yeah,
awareness,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Like you can't mathematically prove that awareness is there, but we all feel it. That's
Hmm.
the hard problem of consciousness. If consciousness is real, where is it? Right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like,
yeah.
but it's just like I'm aware. Oh, I'm thinking this thought. No, that's a thought, bro. Go before the thought. Who is the thinker of the thought?
Hmm.
That's awareness. That's God. That's the soul. That's Prakriti. No, Purusha. Prakriti's nature, Purshua is soul.
Okay.
So like if you think of it in those terms, it's like of course, and what he calls it is like twin trains analogy. The reason why you can use intuition to call something is not is because it's just aligning with what is already happening. You're
Hmm.
just able to calculate, like you're like, oh, I knew that was going to happen. It's like, yeah, you did know because you were able to calculate Prakriti really quickly,
Hmm.
but there's still something like outside, and that gives us our free will, which is like you just don't know where something's coming from. Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
Sure.
Because there's like a awareness there, and that awareness is separate from reality. Do you get what I'm saying? Because where is awareness? Where is that awareness? Where's that reside?
But still in you, right?
But if it's in you, how is it in me too?
Well, it's in the universe, and then.
Right? So it's like there's just something that's in everything that's
Hmm.
just outside of physical reality. And that's what consciousness is. And that's where our free will comes from. Because it's like that's the superposition. That consciousness is the superposition. It's all infinite things until we make it a thing. Do you know
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like um how do I oh, I don't know. How do I draw a friggin' an elephant on a piece of paper? Until like my awareness is there and then it's governing how it's going to draw that thing on paper. But you first
Hmm.
need the awareness,
Hmm.
right? But we don't know what that awareness is doing. So that's the superposition. It's all potentials until it just decides to make that thing. It goes from like immaterial to material.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? And because we can't govern the awareness, that's where the freedom comes in because it's like you are free from this. You can observe the thought. So you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. Or maybe that's the wrong move because you're able to analyze. If we were just in like a, if we were in like a purely, if we were in a purely deterministic world, it's like it would all just be thoughts, thoughts pinging other thoughts, pinging other thoughts, pinging other thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
But because there's something there that can put the brakes on that, that's where our free will can come in. But we're most people are confusing a thought with consciousness.
A thought with consciousness.
How many
Okay.
people know that they can think a thought?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not many. Do you know you're thinking? If you just ask them, like, what the hell are you talking about?
You see what you're saying? Just following thoughts versus like trying to understand your thoughts, kind of thing.
But where exactly? But where does that come from?
Mm-hmm.
You can't have a thought analyzing a thought. You can
Mm-hmm.
have awareness analyzing a thought because you can watch the thought. But the ability to watch the thought is what gives you the free will to be like, maybe I should change this. Because there's
Mm-hmm.
something there. You know what I mean? There's like, you can't have a thought thinking its own thought. You need something else observing the thought. Or do you disagree?
No, I not necessarily disagree. I just don't. I'll have to look more into it, kind of thing,
It's
to
not it's not
understand.
clear.
No, I
Okay, okay.
understand it, but it's all still all within the world, right? It's not something outside the world, right? Is that what we're?
No. Awareness is awareness is outside of the material world. That's Purusha. That's the soul. And then there's Prakriti, which is like in the world,
Mm-hmm.
like the world, the physical world, like knock knock world, And like our thoughts are in this world because they're like manifest. They're like real, but there's something that's not real, which is our awareness. It's intuitively real because we're like I think therefore I am, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
intuitively real, but you can't like actually pinpoint it. You could pinpoint a thought. You know what I mean? Like they're all they call them like the Maya, like the veil. Like there's all these things that are like standing in the way of no mind
Mm-hmm.
awareness. Like
Sure. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, yeah.
right. There's like awareness, and then everything else comes from it, right? So like that awareness is what gives us free will because we can analyze things that are we can witness. I won't even say analyze. You can
Mm-hmm.
just witness a thought. So if you can witness a thought, you can choose this thought over that thought because you're able to see the thoughts,
Yeah, yeah. No, I understand. Yeah.
right? You're like I'm thinking two things, like kill them or don't kill them. All right, let's observe. Oh, I'm thinking. Oh, look at the balloons. Um, kill them or don't kill them, right? And you're like, okay, there are two thoughts there, right? And then you're like, then you start weighing things. Those are more thoughts layered on thoughts. But what I'm saying is like the ejector seat of thoughts, the no mind. There's an intuitive impulse that you know something without thinking that thing. Like this is the correct decision. Like two thoughts, this is the correct decision. Why? It's just innate. It's like an intuition. It's something you know that cannot be explained. It's just intuitive to you. Do you know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. But which thought that they pick is based on the experience, right?
Totally. But right. That's thoughts analyzing thoughts. I
Mm-hmm.
agree with you. You're like, okay, I'm playing mental calculus here. But there's also an
I understand what you're saying. So
intuition.
it could be like, yeah, if you're saying multiple thoughts, and as they say, like there's multiple. What was the thing that whatever the quantum physics thing, right? The
Superposition.
superposition, multiple
Yeah.
things. But
Infinite
when
potential.
yeah, infinite potential. But then when the observer is there, then it becomes that one.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The thought becomes the observer. Like what you're talking about is like, all right, I have two thoughts, and then I'm like weighing them out.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something else that's well, these balloons love me, eh? There's something else not that's not a thought.
Mm-hmm.
It's an intuitive response. It's like a gut feeling, or
Sure.
it's not even
Yeah, yeah,
really.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not even a gut feeling. It's like a pull. I don't know why. Like there's these chess players, the Go. There's these. I heard this on a podcast about UFOs actually, and they were talking about remote viewing, and they call in Go, you know, the game Go, the most brilliant move, right, is an illogical move that doesn't. So they're like, oh my God, you're a brilliant Go player. It's because those people are able to do a move right now that makes no sense, but then later on, it wins them the game because they intuitively knew, oh, I got to move here.
Mm-hmm.
But but it's like, and that's the twin trains. It's like, oh, you're psychic. No, I'm not psychic. I just had an intuition. You know what I mean? And like this was the poll. This is the correct answer. You know? And then they're like, oh, when they analyze the game back, they're like, oh, you made this move here, which led to this. You know? But it's like you couldn't have possibly calculated that. Is what they're saying. Like that's why it's a genius move in Go. It's like you cannot possibly calculate these moves, but like certain people are able to do things, and then you're just like, oh, that's weird that it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But that's an intuitive thought. It's like it's beyond mind.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of the like that Ramanujan story. The guy was like figuring out the science, like the physics, without the
Yeah,
proofs.
yeah. There you go. Yes. Exactly.
Right.
It's an intuition. It's an
Mm.
intuitive. It's an intuitive feeling,
Yeah.
right? But it's like, and then one would say like God's guiding him. Yeah, it
Hmm.
is God
I mean,
because
that's what
it's
he
God.
believed. Yeah.
But what is God? God is awareness. So of
Hmm.
course your intuition's guiding you. And that's the thing that most people have lost.